Mets ace Max Scherzer was last night officially suspended 10 games for using an illegal substance on his pitching hand earlier this week in a win against the Dodgers. Notably, he announced, Max Scherzer did last night, that he will not appeal.
Surprised.
I'm surprised by that, too.
But especially when you see the video of his reaction to how that all went down, I'm pretty surprised.
Well, clearly somebody has advised him either it's not in your best interest to appeal or you won't win anyway, so it's a waste of time. And that seemed to what he suggested last night is that, listen, I'm going to have Major League Baseball just punished me. I think they're wrong. When I appeal, though, I appeal right back to Major League Baseball. I'm appealing to – they're going to reverse their decision they've already made. And it's different people and all that stuff. But he seemed to think that the appeal was just a waste of time and it was all set up against him anyway. I think there's more at stake here, though. He's a first-ballot Hall of Famer whose reputation has now been damaged. I think you got to fight for that. Like, I don't know. Maybe there would be an agent or an attorney that could talk me out of it. But if I were Max Scherzer and I was genuinely innocent of these allegations, I would want to fight for that. I wouldn't want this to be a part of my Wikipedia page. I wouldn't want when I am up for Hall of Fame voting for this to be a part of the story. Well, remember, we keep Barry Bonds out. We keep Mark McGwire out. Why? Because they cheated. Well, you remember Max Scherzer got suspended for 10 games in 2023 and kicked out of a game because he was cheating. If you're keeping out Barry Bonds, how are you embracing Max Scherzer? Because here's a guy who's 38 years old. You think he just started cheating at 38?
No.
Probably not. It's like there was that Ron Washington story a few years ago. This is apples to oranges, but Ron Washington, manager, and he got he stepped down as manager, I think, of the Rangers because of a Coke thing. Like he either got caught with Coke or tested positive for Coke or something, and he said it was the first time he'd ever used it at like the age of 60. Come on, buddy.
I don't believe you, Ron.
But you don't stay away from Coke till you're 60 and then just start. You probably dabbled with it at least somewhere along the way, right?
Just retired. Who knows?
Similarly,
near retirement.
People don't usually retire and then develop a Coke problem. The Coke problem usually comes much earlier in life. So similarly, if you are a cheater, I don't think you start cheating when you're 38 years old, right? And these are all the types of things, if I were Max Scherzer, I would want to fight for. John Heyman had a nice column, New York Post, yesterday about this whole situation. There's now been 3 pitchers who have been suspended for sticky stuff since they started testing pitchers, hands and gloves and everything else, mid-game, after innings or before innings. There's 3. The same umpire has thrown out all 3. So John Heyman's point is it is a judgment call. Because you are allowed to, like in the rules, if you read the rules on this stuff, you're allowed to use rosin. Obviously, they literally put it on the mound. And sweat is sweat. But you can't, and sweat and rosin mixed creates a sticky substance. The rule is you can't use too much rosin. But they don't define what's too much. So it's completely subjective. It's completely a judgment call. And the point Heyman makes, which I think I fundamentally agree with, is you can't first remove somebody prominent from a game, then suspend them for 10 games, more than any of that, damage their reputation over something that is so subjective. Everybody seems to agree that his hand was sticky, but where the argument starts is, well, why? Max says it's rosin and sweat, and that's it. The officials say, no, it had to be more than that because we know what rosin and sweat feels like. But even just rosin and sweat, if it's too much of it, is technically against the rules. So you've got umpires making that call in real time with no clear definition for what it is they're looking for. If you use rosin mixed with sweat, you're okay. But if you use too much of it, you're not. Think about if it was salad. A salad, right? You can put dressing on your salad, but if you put too much, we'll take the salad away from you. You're not allowed to eat it. Well, what's too much? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You be the judge, right?
We'll judge it on a case-by-case. It's a little too subjective to be damaging people's reputations. So I don't mind the whole level the playing field and trying to keep hitters from using bats that they shouldn't be using or performance-enhancing drugs, and keeping pitchers from using substances they shouldn't be using to create unfair advantages. I'm cool with that premise, broadly speaking. But unless you can define exactly what's okay and what isn't, and there's actually a way to test this stuff, like one of the things Heyman points out is, it's 2023. Shouldn't we have something that can test gloves in real time and hands in real time, where we're not guessing what the substances are? We can test these things. And maybe you don't get the results back immediately, but you get them back pretty close.
Right.
And it says, hey, there's something here beside rosin and sweat. There's also this or that. And then because if you could test it and it really is just rosin and sweat, well, then maybe it's okay to just let the guy keep pitching. Bottom line, there's got to be a better way to do this. And maybe the Max Scherzer controversy will lead us to that better way.